All right, so we're back, and today we finally
KSI
get a look
squat form
into
is one of the worst things
KSI's
I've ever
training
seen in my
camp for
life.
Dylan Nannis, because let's be honest, this has been one-sided as far as our build, our look into this fight. It's really been Dylan Nannis, his training footage, his sparring footage, his footage on Ariel Helwani, him on Chael Sonnen's channel, press conference not being what it should have been because Dylan wasn't there, the weight issues, it's all been Dylan, but now we finally get some training footage from KSI, and there's some pretty important things in here. What KSI is doing to prepare for Dylan, how he's doing that, what that tells us about how this fight's gonna go, why he's looking like one of the most jacked up, beefy boys on Venice Beach. But on the other side of that, KSI's doing some things that can potentially have some big diminishing returns in this Dylan fight, but not just that, his entire boxing career. There's some things he has to fix. Let me explain, because we're only 2 weeks away from this fight, which I assume is still happening, because believe it or not, 2022 was the year of playing Uno with YouTube boxing events. In other words, it felt like we were just trying to get rid of all our cards. Let's just try to act like your 3 times divorced dad on his 4th marriage. Just please try to keep this one together. KSI's new training footage. There's great stuff, definitely some keys as to what they're training for in this fight, but there is something off here, and I think I know what it is, why it may cause some real problems for KSI. What do I mean? Well, breakdown. Let's go. Okay, so this is KSI in a training session, a little bit of behind the scenes, and I want you guys to focus on what KSI is doing, but focus on the words being said to him as well.
This is a that nobody sees. You got one more round. You got one more round.
As you can see, they have been training for a bit here, right? KSI is dead tired, but the details I want you guys to listen to. He's saying, this is what no one sees. KSI even says to his coach, Alexis, I fucking hate you. But this is a relationship that you see in the gym a ton between fighter and coach. They could be your best friend, they take you to new heights, but in these moments where they're pushing you past the limits, where they're putting you in positions you're uncomfortable, you do hate them. It is fucking awful, and you want to quit with every fiber in your being. What he's about to do does speak to KSI's mentality, but also focus in on what KSI has in his mouth. He's wearing his mouthpiece, which again is a little key detail. He's training with his mouthpiece in to control his breathing while there's an apparatus fixed in his face that doesn't allow him to breathe the normal way he would without it in. Because in the fight, he's going to have to breathe with that mouthpiece in when he's tired, when he's gassed. It makes it a little more difficult, and I know that can be overlooked, but if you guys have a mouthpiece at home, pop that bad boy in and go run a mile in it. And tell me how much more gassed you feel while trying to breathe through that thing. It's getting all sloshy in your mouth. It's popping in and out, trying to bite down on it. It's interrupting your breathing. This is a big key, and I love the detail of them training everything with the mouthpiece in.
You're going to drown these motherfuckers, every single last one of them. You're going to drown these
Uh-huh.
with your work rate.
Uh-huh.
You see that pace? No one's going to break you mentally. No one. You put that fucking work on.
Let me tell you guys something. Being on the Versa Climber is exhausting, and I don't know how many rounds they did here. I'm assuming they're trying to replicate rounds in a fight, so they probably did 6, maybe 8, just to give him an extra little bit to put him in better shape. But doing this at all, just for 30 seconds at a high pace, will destroy your quads, will destroy your cardiovascular system. It's fucking tough. But what I really like here is KSI's team giving him this motivation, telling him it's your last chance to really push this guy. Like, they're in the fight. Their mentality is, we're in the last round of this fight. No one cares that you're tired. No one cares that you worked really hard and that you might need a break. This guy is going to come and try to beat you. You have to put every single thing on the line. This is what KSI does in all his fights. It's just good to have that reassuring voice in your head pushing you further and further. I don't know what round this is for him, but I'm assuming it's past 6 because they're simulating a fight. So yeah, that's big time. All right, so now we get a little bit of training footage here from KSI, which I really have died to break down. I wanted to see some new stuff from him, and I haven't been able to really in this camp, but we got him on the heavy bag. Something we continue to see footage of KSI throwing is his lead left hook, and I think that's for a couple of reasons. One, they want to work on his lead hand. It is something that he has struggled with outside of his jab. His lead hand hasn't been as active as his backhand, and that needs to be something that changes in this fight. He needs to have an active lead hand on the front foot and the back foot. When this bad boy does come out and he rains down that fucking right hand with the wrath of Baratunde himself, at that point, Dylan has seen so many lead hands that this one sneaks through.
Triple that hook, go!
1, 2, 3 to the body, then comes upstairs. Bang, bang, bang. Solid hook. He is bringing it again from that hip area, which is fine, right? You know, he's not as tight as you'd want him to be with some of those, but we do like that lead hand being where it's at, right? He's covering that chin. Chin is a little high, but tucks it toward the end of that punch, like right there. You see him tuck that chin. Boom. Again, yeah, there's a big tell when he's throwing those because he is kind of But he's not trying to throw a technical hook here. He is putting everything behind these shots. And yes, you want him to remain technical even when the power is there, just to not have any tells behind it. But I do like the finish on this hook. Just tightening it up a little bit would be the best thing for KSI, but little by little, I think is what he's trying to do. All right, so this next part is something I really wanted to take a look at. KSI put a little bit of a teaser of this on Twitter of him showing his actual lifting, his actual weighted resistance workout. What we just saw is all great. KSI working the heavy bag, working on his cardio, stuff that we know that KSI is a master of. The weighted side and the actual workout side, we don't really know where he's at as far as his experience with it and the understanding of why he's doing it from his end and from ours. From our end, the understanding would be, yeah, KSI wants to put on mass, wants to put on big time power explosion to try to match a big body that is going to be Dylan Dennis, probably zombie walking straight toward him continuously in this fight, trying to lay on him and hug him like that last girl in the club. When last call hits, the lights flip on and she did not look as good as they did with the lights low, but she's coming towards you with those arms stretched out anyway. Does he and his team understand that? And if they do, are they doing things to properly evaluate and get to that point? Let's take a look.
I ain't sitting down in my room. I'm out here in the gym working out.
Okay, first off, I feel like this is a shot at me. I know KSI makes these same videos, but yes, I'm in my room for every video. Yes, I'm usually sitting down, but your boy got a stand-up desk now. And listen, as soon as the health stuff is evaluated and treated properly, I'm back in the gym. Y'all all see, okay? Just give me some time. No need to take shots, KSI. What the hell, bruh?
Stability drill, overhead squats.
First off, the edit makes KSI's
These are horrible,
arm look
bro.
like it's deteriorating, like he just got snapped out of existence by Thanos, but never mind that. I want to see what the form of this looks like.
I've
Because,
seen
listen,
it.
his
His
form
squats
of
are
these lifts
terrible,
is
bro.
contributory to, in some cases, how his movements will be in an active situation. So let's take a look.
It's zoomed in because they
Before
can't analyze the
Kiraji, I used to
squat 'cause the
wake
squats
up,
are
wash my
trash,
face, walk
bro.
out the door, and it was
Who is his
Pimple City.
coach? He's gonna get injured
Seeing
doing those
him-
half shits.
I mean, it's not terrible. He's just not getting depth the way you want to see a guy get depth here. The knees are coming forward a bit, which I know under load is somewhat of a no-no to like traditional lifting standards and practice. I'm not necessarily in the same boat of saying your knees can't come over your toes because quite frankly, they're going to have to for some movements, but you do want to see him sink those hips down here and really get parallel with that weight. Otherwise, he doesn't need to be going up with it. If he can't hit that one specific form with lighter weight, the weight doesn't need to go up. And I'm not saying he can't hit it, but I am saying there isn't someone coaching him to hit it right if this is how he's being taught to hit these lifts.
So warm-up done. We probably could have gone heavier, but I'm trying to get some PBs over here, baby.
So again, he says he probably could have gone heavier, and he's probably right. He could have gone heavier. And I'm not here to be that guy on the internet. It's like, oh,
Those don't
you
count as
didn't do it
personal best.
properly.
He doesn't
What are
get
you talking
depth,
about?
bro.
It
That
is a
shit does
true.
not count.
It is a true statement that you.
I saw
need
this
to have
video and it
that
was so
form
annoying because he
correct
did
before
not
you
know how
start
to
thinking about
squat,
going up
bro.
in weight, because the
Who's his
risk
coach?
continues to incline that you do hurt yourself and do something to your body that is irreversible. The more you put load on an already fragile foundation, that's something you just can't do. And again, I hope that KSI has a strength coach with him.
All right, these are front squats. Some of you always
Woo! This is a little more difficult than a back squat, and from my understanding, not supposed to be done with the heavier weight like a back squat would, unless you can control that weight through the full form.
front squats. Some of you always know that. This is just for stability, core, making sure I'm nice and strong, and I look great as well.
So you did hear him say stability, right? Just let's make sure we keep a hold of that word stability. Okay, so we're gonna see him hit these squats. He does have 2 spotters, which is good. But again, we're gonna see how this form looks, right? He's got 100 kg on the bar. We're not going ass to grass or even to parallels, which again does give you a little bit of concern as to who's teaching him these lifts. Or they're not being taught properly.
Exactly.
All the way down, not to just this point. Right?
Who
That's
the
not going to cut it. He needs to get all the way
He's
down.
not even
Shoot those hips
gaining anything
backwards
doing that
instead of
shit,
having those
bro.
knees come
God
forward,
damn.
Relying on his knee and quad to push himself back up. It needs to be hips back, glute, hamstring, and drive. through the movement on the way
Exactly.
up. Slow
Holy
eccentric,
fuck, thank you.
slow deceleration, right? Controlling that weight, not just up, down, but controlling the weight down and boom, then we explode back up. Keeping the chest high so we don't round our back, potentially cause some really, really big back issues, and also just giving us what we want out of this workout. If it is to be prepared for big time power and explosion, to 1, land that big knockout shot, and 2, be able to hold a big frame of Dylan Dennis, you want to build that properly through the glutes, hamstrings, in the hips, and yes, the knees and quads will be activated, but just not as a first line defense. All right, so 120 kg now. Again, we're moving up in weight without exercising properly. I understand the need to build power, right? But under load, you want to make sure form is number one.
Exactly.
And then move up in weight. Because again, this
Man's
session
gonna
is
come
not
back
gonna
with
hurt
a
KSI, right?
horrendous
This is not
injury.
going to make his body deteriorate or spontaneously combust, or he's going to just blow out all of his knees and back and everything else in one set. No. But if this is the route they're going moving forward, the potential for him to get hurt is much higher by doing something like this under heavy weight when his form isn't correct.
This is bad. Holy fuck, he's not getting
You see
anything
that
out
there,
of
the
that.
bar tilts. Now, this could be because his coach here is touching the other side of the bar, causing it an imbalance, or it could be an imbalance in his actual muscle chain, right? It could be some asymmetry here in his left
what
knee,
is
because
wrong
we
with
did
the
see
spotter?
one of these
Why is
lifts,
he
I think it was on
moving?
Twitter, his knee buckles inward, just trying to hold whatever the amount of weight he has on his shoulders is at the time. So there is some asymmetry. There is some weakness here in his left side. And this is why you want to build strength in proper form. And yes, I understand quarter squats are a thing. What he's not doing here is even controlling the weight
Please
for what
don't do
would be a quarter squat, where you wouldn't go to depth on purpose, slow, boom, and then come back. That's not what's happening. The weight is pushing him down, and obviously he's struggling against that, but there isn't a control on the deceleration. And again, there's a lot of heavy load being placed on his knees. I'm not trying to be one of those guys. I'm just saying I like KSI and I don't want him to hurt himself.
120, Jesus.
Yeah, 120 kg. That's like 275 pounds. That's nuts.
Strong, you know. Dylan's wrecked. He's getting destroyed. All my opponents getting destroyed. All of them. This little nerd's getting hench, yeah?
Okay. I'm going to say this, and I don't want you guys to take it the wrong way, but just evaluating what KSI is doing here, this is ego lifting. This is the same thing that you would see from someone at your local Planet Fitness. Throwing 5 or 6 45 pound
KSI is just
plates
ego
on the end of a
lifting
bar.
in the
Doing like a
fucking
half
gym
rep
in his
with it,
training
slamming
video.
it up against the weight rack, coming out, flexing,
Train
and saying,
properly,
yeah, nerds,
bro.
eat that. But I just hope that someone is there in his camp to make sure he's doing these things correctly, so that when his ego is tested or when that stuff goes away and the fight is happening, the thing.
I watched the fucking video, and that shit pissed me off so hard, bro. Just because I saw him do such improper squats and start flexing like he did something. Which, again, doesn't attack me in any way. It's just annoying because these humongous influencers showing other people that this is how he does squats, and he does training camps all the time and has the best coaches, and he's doing squats like this. So it makes people think that they should do squats like that. Absolutely not. They should not do any types of squats like that, bro. That should just... You get no gains from that, bro. You get like half gains from that. That's so bad. And half power, you don't even get as much power from it either.
Things that his ego tell him are there, his big time power, is actually there. That's what I hope. 140 kg. Okay, buddy. Yeah, now see, now this is dangerous. This is not a weight KSI should be doing. 140 kg. What is that again? In pounds. 308 pounds. Yeah, bro. We should not be doing this. I'm just saying, this is dangerous, man. Now, there's a reason they zoomed in here.
3, good job. Walking down.
What are we doing? 160 kg. I have to do it. There's no way, dude. I have to do it. Get the out of here. 352 pounds. I'm laughing, but this is serious. Like, you can't allow him to do this as a team. He is 2 weeks out. And again, I'm not saying KSI is fragile, nothing like that, but let's be real with what we're trying to accomplish with this lift, right? If it's explosion, we can do that under lighter load with better control. We can burn that muscle in many different ways to create power and explosivity. This is not one of them. Ego lifting is not one of them. And I like KSI, which is why I'm so concerned with this and why I don't understand why a guy like Leon Wills is not there to oversee it, because there's no way Leon would let him lift this weight like this. Okay. Ooh, buddy. Again, this is probably the most depth he's had on any of his lifts, and I'm telling you, it's not because he's trying to get there. That weight is shoving him into the proper position.
He doesn't get depth normally.
He hasn't built the muscles to be able to stabilize it, which is why you see this little hitch. And again, that goes right into both knees. You even see him off center line here, driving off that left knee. It's because this left knee is a little weaker. It's going down a little further. And this guy's trying to push up. His right knee is trying to go up. The left knee's not following command. So he does get a little bit at the bottom. And you see that
bro. I have the same problem. I have one leg stronger than the other.
There. Listen, he got the weight up. Fair
I make
play
sure
to
not to
him,
go
and
too heavy. I make sure to get good depth every time I do a squat, because
it's impressive for him to be able to lift that kind of weight and for him to push himself. But God, JJ, take care of yourself, man. This is not worth it to get injured over.
standing.
Got a little lightheaded there. Can't lie.
You know why I got lightheaded? I've had this same thing many lifters had. It's because you're holding your breath at the bottom of that squat. Right? Versus being able to on the way up. Oh, God. Okay, so we're bench pressing now. We're on the Deontay Wilder training regimen where we're bench pressing for a boxing match. 130 kg is 286 pounds. It doesn't make sense to me, but let's see what happens here.
That's your bar. Down. Work. Speed up.
Hey, listen, it's not easy days. Don't say that. I know they're attempting to have KSI's personal best here, but just like with his squat, personal best only counts and only matters when you can do it through your full range of motion without that assist. Again, I'm not too concerned with it because he definitely was going to need that assist there, but it doesn't serve KSI, in my opinion, to get a personal best on these lifts done incorrectly. That's all I'm saying.
All right, 130. Got a PB just for you lot, people. Enjoy.
That's not a PB. I'm sorry. It's more like a PB and J. That's not just because I'm a little jelly that he's stronger than I am, but because without one, it's not complete. Just like without KSI's coach there to help him with those lifts, they don't actually get the lifts done. Doing some mid rows, aka upright rows. Yeah, listen, I know, again, trying to work on his
back.
Where is
bro, oh my
posture?
fucking, I didn't
Where
even
is
see
the
this.
bend
Why
in
is he
the
bent
knees,
like
right?
this?
I'm not saying he's trying to take this
It's not even
weight
that bad,
and
but
load it into
come
his hamstring
on,
glute,
bro.
Just to reset
Where's
his
his
body.
training
He's in a
coach?
good
His
morning
back
kind
is
of Jefferson
rounding.
curl stance here. And if he was doing Jefferson curls, I'd still say maybe that's a little too much weight, but having that rounded back while he's doing rows is just not a good idea, man. It needs to be a hip hinge and posture here. Head up, chest up, squeeze those shoulder blades and really rip that, not through the tricep, but through the lat and the oblique here.
Stuff like this to help
Where's
me,
his coach, bro?
maintain
Because this is
my body
other.
to make sure I don't get injured.
Oh,
make sure I
really?
have that tension in, keep it injury free, and
Bro,
stop me
you
from,
dude, fix your
getting
form
hurt.
before you
Listen,
say that
he's
stuff,
right,
bro.
that's what these things are supposed to do. His lifts in between the running, the sparring, those things are to keep his muscles firing and to keep himself injury free by loading the proper muscles, giving them work, giving them oxygenated blood to be able to create and flush some of his lactic acid, regenerate some of the blood going to that area and help him heal. But the problem is when you do these things incorrectly, you're loading the fact that you are sparring, you are running, you are doing some of that cardio onto improper lifts, and that can create the potential for big time injuries. During the lifts, during your spars, they coincide with one another. KSI, please listen to me when I say get Leon Wills in the camp. I don't know what he costs, but it will be worth it. The man is a guru for a reason. You need a proper strength coach in there. He knows this. I know KSI knows this, but he needs to get someone in there to be a proper strength coach. His boxing coach is being there to push him is great, but the strength coach being there to teach and walk through proper form is essential.
I can't leave without, showing you.
Okay.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh,
Figures
okay.
everything if you're gonna get fucking injured, dog.
Hey, I'll say this. He's got a great physique. He's in good shape. But again,
got a
this
four-pack,
is
though, so.
100% the biggest reason why this video was made. This right here, the epic reveal. KSI showing off the muscles he's getting and gaining from doing these lifts. And while I understand that, and listen, the ego is going to pop out. He's feeling himself. He even said in this video, he's peaking right now. We're only 14 days away from the fight, so his mentality is kill mode right now, like full confidence in himself. You have to understand that those things that he just showed on camera are not good. In the short term, are they going to really matter? Probably not. Like, obviously, his body has been built up. His strength is there to be able to compensate for some of the bad lifts. But over time, they absolutely will. And again, this may not happen in a Dylan fight. He may go out and flatline Dylan in a round or two, and that's 100% doable. KSI looks like a different fucking machine right now. My biggest worry is that KSI's body, not his mind, not his will, not his ability to persevere in fights and to find a way to win, but his body may betray it. But all I really want is for KSI to be safe because we're only 2 weeks away from this fight, and watching him front squat 352 pounds and his knees and quads and face look like they're going to explode. That is something that concerns me, but he got through it. Fair play to him, and thank God, because I do not need another pullout in any of these fights. We want to get there. January 14th on the zone.
Can you let me know if we are or
not? Happening. But you guys let me know. What did you guys think of the dichotomy here, right? The mental fortitude of KSI to push himself to do things that are, quite frankly, not normal lifting that kind of weight. But in my opinion, if continued this way, it will have a negative effect on his body, potentially his boxing career. How will it affect KSI on January 14th? Probably not a lot. This is, again, one video we're seeing. Maybe he doesn't lift like that all the time, maybe just on his personal best days. But again, that shouldn't be the case. But I don't have the answers as to what happens there. Like I said, I don't even have the answers if we have a fight. I still